Okay, you are back on with Truth Exposed Radio. We are live on November 17th, and we are joined in studio by Jason Bermas.
How you doing, Jason?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great, man. I'm glad you came on today, man, because we got a lot to talk about. There's so much crazy stuff going on. We got to get your input on it.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see. We got to introduce Jason Bermas. Jason Bermas is an activist. He's been really instrumental in the 9/11 cover-up. He is a documentary filmmaker. He's made Invisible Empire, Fabled Enemies, Loose Change, which is probably the most popular one. And he's also a radio host. He had a show, Info Warrior, and we're going to see what he's up to recently these days.
So what are you up to lately, Jason?
Well, honestly, I've been trying to edit this thing I've been doing called 10 in 10. And basically, I am trying to get back on the radio. But in order to get back on professional radio, I need either a Comrex Access unit or a Tie-Line Bridget unit. And these things range on the low end from like $1,600 all the way up to $3,000. And that's just without a mixer to even broadcast from my house. So I took some of the donation money I got. I've gotten $1,615 out of the $5,000 I was trying to raise. And I bought myself a Sony CX100 HD cam. I already have an HVR V1U. And I have my iPhone, which shoots pretty decent HD. I also picked myself up a Mac, but it was an older Mac. I got it at a discount. I got it for a few $100s. I bought myself a 20x10 green screen kit with the pro lighting. However, at 20x10, when it comes in, it's all folded. And in order to get all the folds out, you either have to iron it or you have to steam clean it, and then you can shoot against it. Anybody who works with green screens knows that you really want to get that one-tone chroma so you can knock everything out and not worry about shadows and whatnot.
Man, so, you're going all out with the green screen and everything, huh?
Well, I'm trying to make it, something to, be on par with what I've done before. I'm really not looking to take any steps backwards. So, I was looking to build myself a virtual set that you would see on, say, a Tosh.0 or the Soup. So I would stand there and do the news. Now, the 10 in 10 thing was once a week I was just going to use this equipment until I got the actual radio equipment. And then what I hope to do is broadcast a 2-hour show 5 nights a week. And we take that 2-hour show, we film it, then I edit it together and put out the video podcast the next day. Well, forget about the next day. I don't even know if I would be able to do that in a week or a month in HD with this Mac that I have. I'm having some real problems even editing down a 20-minute rant session, which is basically I took 10 stories from the week, went over them. I built high-level graphics for the side, and I put myself against just a black kind of curtain backdrop. It looks amazing, and the Sony CX100 shoots almost as well as the V1U in these close-up, well-lit situations. So I can't even edit this in real time. It's been frustrating me. I shot it over a week ago. I'm actually going somewhere later tonight and then tomorrow to try to hook into a better editing bay so I can start putting out 10 in 10 at least by the week. I'm also working on a new film. I can't really talk much about it because I haven't signed anything but a small deal memo, which is really how I got the V1U in the first place. And who knows if they're actually going to pick it up. But those are the two things mainly I'm trying to work on. On top of that, I am keeping up with the news, obviously. I'm very stoked that NIST has finally released what say is all of the video. I'm currently downloading the 83.9 gigabyte torrent.
Oh, you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm at 66%. I started doing it after I heard the James Gorley interview. And I know James. I've actually been to his house out in Dallas, Texas, many years ago now. We've done a screening of Loose Change Final Cut out there. That's actually where I met James Grodin and Eustace Mullins before he died. He came in.
Oh, really? You met him too?
Yeah, he came to that screening of Loose Change Final Cut. So pretty interesting time, and Gorley is a wonderful human being, and he really just strives to pursue truth, and has really dedicated his time at an extreme discount and sometimes for free for this movement. So I can't wait to go through these 85 gigabytes of the 9/11 data. I think if anybody's equipped to do it, it's me. and see what I can pull out. I don't know if that's going to be another film. I would doubt it. I was thinking maybe I could put together a special. Maybe
definitely something.
Yeah, maybe put it out like as a $5 DVD where I sit there and I analyze all the video and I call it NIST Unseen. So
there you go.
That's a possibility too. I've got a couple other projects on my brain that I might jump to, but man, who knows where it's going to go? These things are never definite. I've been up in upstate New York now since the end of May. It's been really good for me to be around my family and spend some time with my brother and my sister and my nieces, and really just the area. I got a lot of friends up here as well that I grew up with, and it's nice to have a little less stress in my life. But at the same time, I want to get back into the mix.
Yeah, and if I can just explain for listeners that might not know who James, is it Garley is?
James Gorley, yes.
Gorley. Okay, he is the director of the International Center for 9/11 Studies, and they were the ones to take on NIST with the Freedom of Information request, which got ignored a few times, and that's where they had to literally take it to court. And NIST then released 3 terabytes of video, which activists are going through and finding new videos and new interviews with firefighters talking about they're hearing explosions, new video of World Trade Center 7 and loud explosions coming from it. So that is what Jason Bermas and us are speaking about. And Jason, a lot of people have been wondering where have you been, what happened to the show, what's going on. So it's good to have you on air to explain to all these people where you're at, because a lot of people are missing you, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I get all these, IMs or people posting on my wall. The bottom line was, InfoWars was great, is great. I keep in touch with those guys. I love them to death. But, when I do these movies, like, for instance, when I did Fabled Enemies and Alex produced that one. First of all, Alex produced our first film, and we stayed in New York. He produced Loose Change Final Cut. Okay, so then later when I did Fabled Enemies, I went out to Austin, Texas. I believe it was from like mid-February to the end of April, maybe the beginning of May 2008, and we released that on September 1st, 2008. I went back home. And, once again, when I came back to do Invisible Empire, I only signed a 1-year contract. I ended up staying a little bit longer because the production took a little bit longer on Invisible Empire. But I always intended to come home. I mean, the house I sit in right now, I rented the entire time I was out in Texas. Think about that.
We had to pay for all that?
Yeah, of course. People, I'm some kind of a millionaire. They have no idea. I rent, I drive a 98 Acura that's beat up. I live paycheck to paycheck. I make just enough on these movies that I'm usually able to dog out another one. And really, that's all I'm trying to do is I think, although I think I'm a decent radio show host, a decent analyst, a decent activist, those are all great things. But, I look at something like Invisible Empire. I released it on April 15th, and the one Change the Channel thing has 975,000 views. And there's another version with 90,000 views. That means on YouTube alone, without all the people that actually purchased the film, burned it, handed it out, showed it at screenings with, anywhere from 10 people to 1,000 people come to these screenings. People, that doesn't count the torrents. Millions of people see my movies. And you get to encapsulate some of the most important subject matter in a 2-hour or so period. So, I'm just trying to get these movies out there. I mean, I hope that I'm going to be doing this for the rest of a very, very long life and helping to affect change. And
absolutely. I know that your films are some of the most popular ones in the movement. Invisible Empire, when you released, like you said, I actually looked into it. Yeah, right. Change the Channel has nearly 1 million views already. I know that Invisible Empire is one of the most popular DVDs that we pass out when we go on the streets of San Antonio.
Yeah, we make a combo disc with Invisible Empire and Police State 4.
Yeah, we're constantly passing those things out, and we hear great things of people that watch them. It really wakes them up to, the New World Order roundtable groups. I mean, that stuff is so vitally important to understand.
And, with these documentary films that come out and activists spread around, these wake up literally people everywhere. And really, I would like to see Invisible Empire go even more mega viral, because even still to this day, you hear people like I work in construction, and every now and then the guy would be like, "Oh yeah, have you seen Zeitgeist?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's like 3 years old," but people are still talking about it because it's spread around so much. And we still need to get Invisible Empire out there, because that's the New World Order 101 right there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think it's going to, stand the test of time. And I think, as people like Geraldo come around to 9/11 Truth, I think Fabled Enemies has one of the most stunning and shocking World Trade Center 7 chapters out there. And that movie remains relevant to this day. And
yeah, I'm telling you, I want to go into all this with you. You just brought up Geraldo Rivera now almost coming to our side of things. We're seeing the NIST things being released, all the new developments surrounding 9/11. I want to get your take on that as one of the most instrumental founders in getting this 9/11 truth out with the film Loose Change. So we'll be right back after this quick break to talk more with Jason Bermas.
You are tuned in to the Truth Exposed radio show. I am your host, Matthew Medina.
And I'm Cody Hess.
And we have here tonight with us the great Jason Bermas. That's right, activist, filmmaker, radio show host. He's come up from just handing out DVDs to working on a really instrumental film that got him on a tour nationwide and media attention, debates on cable network television, to going and making another good documentary, Fabled Enemies, to Invisible Empire. I mean, this guy's done it all. Jason, you want to? He's working on video updates, so he's not out of the game, ladies and gentlemen. He's definitely not out of the game. He's working on some video updates, and he still needs some more equipment. So you want to tell us about that, Jason?
Yeah, I am trying to put together my own radio show again, like I said, 2 hours a day, and then also edit it down so we have a video broadcast and make it like news style, kind of like a Tosh.0 or a Talk Soup. And I say that because that way I don't need a full studio. That way we can just work on the graphics during the day, pop it in there, have it be a little more hip. I may be an old timer now at 31 years of age, but I still want to reach out to the younger people there. I think that's who my films really resonate with. I think that's why, I think that Loose Change was super successful for a lot of reasons, and one of them happened to be that it was the first truth movie that had the production value and was geared towards a younger audience. And not only that, but you got to understand, this was the first movie like that challenged the official version of the biggest event in really all of our lives, and that's worldwide, because no matter where you live, 9/11 actually does affect you, whether you understand it geopolitically or not. And, that intro with my boy Alex Jones was great because, although I was looking into 9/11 and I had come across some things that maybe it was LIHOP, maybe it was MyHop at the time, when I saw Road to Tyranny and I wanted to prove everything in that movie wrong, and I went back and found out it was even worse than what was in that film, and that the film ended up being incredibly accurate, really just changed my life. I was at the time just a pizza guy and a graphic designer, and I was working like 60, 65 hours a week. This is post 9/11, but I had just seen how different the country was pre and post, and it really disturbed me. And if I thought brown people in the cave did it, I had a totally and completely different perspective. And I think it's the youth now. I mean, the kids that are 18 and 21, they were like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old now when this happened. This event is so distant from your average college student or high school student. And we have to keep reaching out to them. And that's why this thing with Geraldo was really important to me, because, I want to like Geraldo Rivera. He's kind of a man's man. I mean, he's out there.
That's man.
Yeah, he's got his own island. He's got a bunch of wives, and he's keeping it young, shape. I mean, this is like, the hip news guy. He got punched in the face on his show.
Yeah. You can see him on YouTube getting fist fights.
Yeah, with Nazis that I don't like. Let me, he bit it on the Al Capone's tomb thing, and a lot of the things I said were kind of sarcastic, but at the same time, he puts it on the line. He's got a little bit of brass. He's had Alex Jones on his program, that sort of thing. And for him to have a fair thing about Building 7, that really harkens back to not only Loose Change, that has a great Building 7 chapter, but you look at Fabled Enemies, and we go through the agencies that were in there. We show you the news reports where they admitted they cordoned off the entire area and let the Secret Service and the CIA surveil everything to make sure that everything went down the way they did it. We have the Barry Jennings interview for the first time in there that confirms the explosions. We've got the news reports from Michael Hess that now that they've released this NIST footage, look who it is. It's Michael Hess on the 8th floor saying, "I'm the city corporation council. Get me out of here."
Yeah.